Okay. All right, I'm going to cover cutting a hole in your noggin. And the reason why we do this is the same thing that I mentioned in the nose portion, is that the air inside of your noggin is important when you're building it because it helps keep the clay from collapsing in like a balloon. But when you go to fire this, you put it in the kiln, the air inside expands. And if there's any moisture in here, it'll create steam. And the steam and that air need to go somewhere. So you have control over this. You can decide that you are going to put a hole in the back where you can't see it. Or if your noggin sits, like if this is the table, sits straight on top of the table, you can put a hole in the bottom here. If you want to make it functional into a pencil holder, you can put it right there and open up the noggin. And in fact, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do this. So now my noggin is going to become something that holds a pencil. I might have to add something here to make it so that it doesn't tip over really easily. It's still a little wobbly. Like, I don't know, some sort of piece of clay there. All right, so what am I going to do? I'm going to open this up. If I can find my... Let's see it. Okay. Oh, there it is. Toothpick. Always losing it. All right. I'm going to open this up. If I'm not going to really see it, it doesn't matter what it looks like. But if I'm putting it on the top here, then I want to think about the shape and everything. So, and then I would just cut the top off. And how would I do that? I would keep using the toothpick and go round and round and round until I got all the way through, right? That's how you would cut the top off. If I'm going to cut it off in a place that I'm not going to see it, well, actually, you could do the same thing. I could do this to the top if I didn't want to keep it as a lid, but I'm going to show you both ways. So if my noggin sat back like that, this didn't happen, right? I can take my paper clip tool. This is the best way to do this. And just start pulling that clay off. This is better than trying to cut it with a toothpick or a knife or anything like that. You definitely want to be careful about using anything sharp because it's really easy to cut yourself. So I'd rather you not do that. And no matter what, you do have to put a hole in your noggin. You do not have a choice. I cannot fire anything that has not been opened up. So, all right. And then when I look inside, I can see that line where I connected the two pinch pots. So I'm going to want to blend that together. And I want to be careful that I don't close up any, if I made like a big clown nose, I want to make sure I don't close up that, that hole I punched through. Okay. All right, that's all I need to do. Done, right? Move these pieces of clay out of the way. Okay. So I'm not going to cut the top off. But I am going to look at the time, 15 minutes. Okay. These are the eyes that I need to cover. And I'm going to start with the bug eyes and then move to cartoon eyes that sink in. Dots' eyes, and then realistic human eyes. So bug eyes, you know, anything that sticks out. Bart Simpson eyes stick out. And so it could be a really big piece of clay, or it could be a small piece of clay. It's totally up to you. But no matter what, you still want the eye sockets to show up. You don't want to just cover them up. Like, there's no reason to have them if you're just going to cover them up. So if I want to have eyes like that, but I don't want them to stick out that much, I can just cut that in half, and then I have two eyes that are basically the same size. They probably need to be reshaped, but yeah. So I could go have it this direction. I could even have them go this direction if I wanted to. It just really depends on the character. Okay. So I'm going to show you with one. I'm going to make it a little smaller. So that. And if you think about an eyeball, it's kind of roundish. So you want to make it a little rounder. All right. And I'm going to flatten the bottom where it's going to be attached. And so it's going to be like that. Right. Follow the same steps. You score, slip, agitate, and smooth. Wiggle it around. Once I put the slip on, push down, blend all the way around, and then you can see the eye socket still. That's important. Blended. And then I have some choices to make. If he just has pinpoint eyes, I can just do something like that. Right? Maybe that's too small. Maybe I want to add a little piece of clay to it. Kind of get into booby territory here. Like that. I could use the end of my pencil here, make a larger one. I could use the end of my eraser. You know, it just depends on what the eye of the character looks like. If I have Stewie, Stewie has an eyelid, so I could build the eyelid out, or I could do something like push my pencil in to create an eyelid. Let's see, I think I can do it with this. So there's an eyelid. I could have also carved away at the eyeball to create that eyelid. And so that's one of the many ways to create a bug eye. Right. So cartoon eyes that sink in are usually actually Japanese anime characters, but I see the shape a lot. The Ninja Turtle might have this shape too, depending on which one it is. And I am going to carve out the inside of the eye. So just like it says, eyes that sink in. And no matter what, it's probably a combination of different techniques. So you're probably adding and taking away for any eye you make. So it could be this. I have to clean it up, but my clay is really soft. It also could have this cushion. That. That's totally up to me. I could have built it out. I can add an eyelid if this isn't sufficient. So you'd score, slip, agitate, and smooth. But you would add this clay. Something like that. And really attach it. Okay, I'm going to pull this off. And then we're going to do little tiny eyes, dots as eyes, which is exactly what it sounds like. So you could either add clay to make your eyes. So you can put these in there. Kind of bug eye-ish. You don't have to make it that big. It is really hard to add really tiny pieces of clay. Oh, I lose someone. Okay, something like that. Right. You could just do that if you wanted to with the eye socket. They have an eyelid, some little and something. You might add these pieces of clay. It just really depends on your character. Right, so this is already more 3D than this here. Now, if I'm just drawing in eyes and not really thinking about how to make that look more 3D, then I'm not going to get all the points for this project. Like I could carve around, and now it's already more 3D just by doing that. Yeah, does your character have wrinkles around its eyes? You can carve in and make it look like it really does. Like move the clay so it really creates those wrinkles. Okay. All right, last one, realistic human eyes. I'm gonna have to get rid of this. Do I have time? Yes, I can do this quickly. Okay, good. All right, I like to do it like how you would actually build a human eye if you could. If you roll out a piece of clay to be the eyeball, that's going to be crazy. So I'm going to make it a little smaller. All right, that's probably a better shape, but it sticks out too far. So my solution is always just to cut it in half, so then I have two eyes. And I might have to cut it down a little bit more because you really don't want the eye to come out too much farther than how much you pushed in for your eye socket. So that actually looks all right. I'm going to stick with that. Okay. All right, so score, slip, agitate, and smooth. Anything I attach, really make sure you do this well because your eyes will fall out. No one believes me until it happens. So if you didn't attach your handles properly on your mugs, you're going to know it because when you get it back, chances are it's probably going to be missing a handle. Okay. Right. Okay, almost done here. I'm going to go ahead and figure out what the middle of the eye is going to look like. Something like that. And then I'm going to take a coil, a little skinny coil, and flatten it out. And this is going to be the eyelid, but I'm going to have to cut it to be the right shape. And then I'm going to make one for the bottom lid. So you attach that properly. We have this one. It's probably not going to work because there's a little tear in it unless I want that. But something like that. And you have to score, slip, agitate, and smooth. All right, I am going to pause my recording. All right, so that's closer to a realistic eye. It just has not been attached properly. So just remember that. It's still looking a little weird, and all the eye shapes are going to look weird until you put a brow ridge. So what I'm about to go over covers brow ridges for any of your characters. It's just if you make them really oversized, they look more cartoony, so you have to decide like how to match that look. Okay. So right now, this there's a lot of stuff that happens in here in at least human eyes. So if you feel your forehead, you know that your brow pops out a little bit, some more than others. And then this gets filled in a little bit too, but it's not appropriate for all the characters. So I'm going to grab some soft clay. I'm going to roll it into a coil. We use coils a lot on this. And like right now, this looks like a little crazy, right? But I always use more clay I need to, because I find when I blend it, it blends down to a lot less clay, to almost nothing sometimes. I make it too small. I'm going to score this. And then I add slip to the clay that I'm attaching. And if I don't score, like if I place it down and I haven't scored there, I have the chance of it not really sticking very well. So you want to always make sure you score. All right. So that's a little much for a realistic eye. It's definitely very cartoony. I need to bring it down a little bit. I'll add texture once I have it formed the way I want and I get the forehead all figured out. I might decide to fill this in a little in here because maybe it pushes back a little too much for me. So that would just be a little coil. I'd have to use my toothpick to score. Score, 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 score. Add a little slip. That's a big piece of clay right there. Don't want to lose my eyelid, but I also don't want it to be such, I guess, a deep set eye. Okay, so there we go. That's a little bit better, don't you think? Now this egg-shaped head is making me a little nuts. So how do I fix that? Well, it's the same thing. You just add clay, but you need to make sure the clay is wedged. I'm kind of reaching in for my wedged clay, soft clay, and wedged. There we go. So I work in pieces because I find it's really easy to get an air pocket otherwise. So I'm going to put a piece here. I'm going to build out the forehead a little bit. Hair is not going to cover this because it's so strangely shaped. So I push down and you work your way around to do this. You want to make sure, like, I don't like how that's not scored up there. I probably just score the whole top of the noggin and then start adding the clay so I wouldn't have to do that part piece by piece. And just move the clay around and try to get it to blend. Trying to make the head look or the forehead look a little better. That's helping. It's helping. I mean, it's you can see it's a little fuller on this side compared to that side. So I would just keep building it up. Now I may have to, if I do it so much, I may have to go in and carefully try to like remove a little bit of clay in there, just so that, and try not to go through, just so that I don't have it too thick up there. That's the same thing with like noses too, or chins. If you add on clay to the chin, you might go in underneath and take care of that. All right, so that's eyes for you. Please let me know if you have any questions while we're in class, or sign up for a tutorial, and I'm happy to help you.